what do I share? What's your experience with your sexual orientation, your gender identity? How has that changed through your adult life, your childhood life as well? When did you first start thinking about and working with that question of how much do I share of who I am? How comfortable am I with that? For me, it was mostly around sexual orientation. I know for some people it's also around gender identity. However, that lands for you, let's explore that. Notice what's going on in your body. Whenever we're working with anything that's such high stakes, it means so much to us personally, our gender identity and expression, our sexual orientation. But it's also risky. There's a price we pay. There's a lot of conditioning, a lot of pressure. What does that feel like in your body when you think about that or feel into that? One of the inquiry statements we might use is something like, I can afford to share who I am. Now, in the present or maybe in the past, there's probably some conditions around that. Well, I can in my work life or daily life, but I can't in my family, or I can with a certain friend group, but not at this time. What comes up in your mind and what comes up in your body? Is there any kind of tightening in your body? Any sensation or energy? Does your breath change? So, the balance of staying in the present moment and going into the past is something that we're always working with in these somatic inquiries. We want to stay present in terms of right now in this moment, our body is safe, nobody is judging us, there's no risk to our body right now or to our social inclusion. We're not in a situation of having to navigate that in the world right now. And yet, there's probably lots of emotion or sensation or certainly thoughts about this. Some of them might be from the past. It's always interesting as well to look into, am I shaming myself? Am I remembering times of being shamed? Sometimes we're quite aggressive with ourselves in terms of, well, I should be completely open with everybody. Or people saying to us, well, I don't tell you that I'm heterosexual, so why are you telling me? Why are you being so pushy about it? There's so much nuance to this. Take a few breaths, make sure that you're here in the present moment. And if you find that you're getting kind of overwhelmed a little bit with memory or something, then open your eyes, come back into regulating your system. But otherwise, let yourself kind of explore, what are some of the experiences? What are some of the ponderings that you've had around this? What does that feel like in your body? And you might look into a question like, I would like to be more open with a certain person or group, or I have been open and they're not respecting my pronouns. They're not respecting what I'm sharing with them. What are some of the considerations that you're working with around revealing who you are, your gender identity, your sexual orientation? And is that changing at all? So, no matter what age we are, we might be negotiating a different kind of opening. Are people going to reject me, or are they going to be judgmental, or is it just going to be weird? For me, for instance, if I started to let my facial hair grow out, I had a lot of energy for that when I was that kind of defiance when I was younger. I'm not sure if I do now. It makes me feel kind of tired. What is your situation? Is it something you've thought about and it's kind of settled, or is it something that's quite alive for you still, or maybe newly alive? And keep working with being here and present. One of the things we might look into as well, is there an internal questioning, or is this more external based, like how I'm interacting with other people? I know what's right for me. I'm settled in terms of my own identity. This is more in relation to other people, or maybe there's something new coming up internally. So what comes up for you when you think about that? Monitor the sensations in your body as well. Really keep an eye out for any kind of inner critic. Something might be difficult in the world, but see if you could stay patient and kind with yourself, especially if something's difficult in the world. Can you be kind? Notice if there's a lot coming in, if it feels kind of settled. What's attracting most of your attention? Let's see if you could go a little bit more into that. Where is the juice in this question? As we're coming to the end of the inquiry as well, what is it that you might like to put voice to share with other people? And notice also what came up during the inquiry. Are these questions or considerations or reflections something that's kind of fresh? Is it something that you've been working with for a while? Is it something that you're really clear about internally, or is it something that you're really working with? What's your experience with that? And somewhere there's a continuum. We're probably somewhere on that between this is who I am and just take it or leave it. I'm not going to hide to make you comfortable. And I don't have the energy. I don't really care what you think or what you know. I'm not going to gift you with my honesty. See where you are on that. What does it feel like? And also to allow whatever is here to be here. There's no shame in anywhere on that continuum. It just might be where we are today. It might be where we are this year. Where do you fall with that? And there's also a joy in expressing ourselves. So, not to let that be overshadowed either. It's fun to hang out with people who get us and who are like us or who fully accept and appreciate us. And we might have a lot of that in our life, or we might not have quite enough, depending on our circumstance. Just to notice that as well. It's fun to get together in this group and just explore these questions of what's going on in our world around these questions of sexual orientation and gender identity.